Hello, I'm Julie Davey. I'm the volunteer writing teacher here at the City of Hope in Duarte, California. I've been doing this class for about 7 years, a little over 7 years now, and the class is called Writing for Wellness. It is designed to help people get through whatever ails them, whether it's cancer, any loss that they might be suffering, such as divorce or loss of job, loss of a relationship. And what it is people come in, I give them a writing assignment, and they write about it. But it's not a journaling class. It's not a class where you just come in and write about what you're thinking that day. It's directed and focused writing. The book is designed to be easy to use as a textbook in the class. This is an example of the kind of lesson that we would give in Writing for Wellness. This is a topic called Choosing Happiness. It starts out with a little quote from one of my students, and then I talk about how cancer affected me and that I could have become very depressed and negative. And so there's a little bit of a personal story in there for a while. Then I have the healing words, and these are stories from my students who have been in the class. I Choose Happiness was written by Joan. Fork in the Road by Edna. Then what I do is I have you, as the reader or the participant in the class, go through a prompt. I tell you a little bit about this. You've heard the advice, how to make lemonade out of lemons. And then it starts off with a jump start that will get you started, or your friends started, or the people in the class. I made a conscious decision to choose happiness when blank, 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 and you start writing. Or when something negative happens, I always find myself. Describe the effect reading and writing about the subject had on you. So there's 3 choices there. You don't have to do one or the other. In fact, you can do anything you want with your class. You can mold it to your own needs and to their needs. But this is a format that is in every chapter, and there's always a healing words or it's your turn. The reason I came up with this class is because I have 33 years of teaching writing, 15 on the high school level and 18 on the college level, and I have found that my techniques will help people write about what they're going through. If you had one day to live over, first of all, what day would that be, and how would you live that day? This could be a day that you would really like to live over because it was so wonderful, or it could be a day that you wish you could change. And how would you change it? Okay? So let's see where we get with that.
The day I walked into class, I did not know what to expect. Would it be a day of journaling? A lecture? Would I like it? One thing I knew, I needed to be with others that had had cancer. The class turned out to be just what I needed. I started sharing my feelings, learning how to put my feelings through writing in whatever form. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Gosh. Everybody knows Linda. She is a survivor of breast cancer and is in the book. She started this class, really.
I was looking for someone to start a journaling, creative writing class. I threw that wish up to the cosmos, and luck and divine intervention came my way, and my oncologist, Dr. Leong, said, you need to talk to this woman named Julie Davey. She's got a special set of skills, and she wants to help out. She wants to give back to City of Hope. So, long story short, I met Julie. She said she wanted to start a writing class. I said, I can't believe it because I just wished for you, and here you are. And we sat down. We talked about how we would construct it, how, where, when, and what it would be like. And I said, it's for our healing. It's for our wellness. It could be writing for wellness. light bulb went on, and she said, "That's great." And next thing you know, it's been 7 years since the class has been going, and it's just couldn't be better. Okay, this is called living the in-between. Your cancer has returned, she said. Yes, it has been many years since the first time, but that's not uncommon. Yes, it is not curable, but will now be treated like a chronic disease. You should be fine until you are not. You will take a prescription X for a number of months, have blood drawn every other month, have an infusion once a month, and see me on alternate months. Then you will have some scans to let us know. Let you know what? In between the treatments, we will do some scans to let us know if they are working, if the cancer is stable, shrinking, or if it is growing. Oh, in between. Yes, in between the scans and the treatments, you should just take it easy. Be positive, enjoy yourself. In between, you should live until you stop. In between, you should do all the things that you've always wanted to do until you can't. In between, you should start putting yourself first until you are last. But in between is so short and so segmented. In between is so disjointed and disconnected. In between is frantic and fragmented. In between is terrifying. Yes, but that is all you have, the in between. No, it is not. And I know what I'll do. I will widen the in-between to each corner of my life. I will erase the chalk lines. I will fling back the curtains, stick my head out the window, and yell. There will be no in-between here. Just a sum of many parts, a grand total of all. I will inhale the love all around me, not hold my breath until you call. I will surround the full circle with loved ones so dear. Close the gap of uncertainty, exhale the fear. I will not mark the calendar with X's in black, but will document my blessings, not list what I lack. Move over in between, I forbid you to stay. Make room for whole living, honor fully each day.
Oh, boy. Bill. He's a survivor of a bone marrow transplant. He had a blood disorder and had the transplant, and he's been coming to the class. He's in the book. Lots to say, and he's got his own cards that he developed.
I was amazed at how quickly everybody became kind of an extended family. It's really mind-boggling how close everybody gets and how they keep coming back for saying hi to each other and getting hugs and the mutual support that the class really represents. And writing has become, I think, a new focus for everybody to put their feelings on paper for healing. In my case, one of the assignments was to do some greeting cards, and it became just a whole new focus for retirement and keeping a positive outlook on life.
Ela Cabral is a bone marrow transplant survivor, a teacher in the school district from Los Angeles, and she has just resigned her teaching position to go back and get her master's degree so that she can possibly work either here at the City of Hope or at a hospital and help cancer patients. She's in the book.
After I was discharged, I was given the okay from my doctor that I could go home. It was 2 months after that. So in October of '06, I started here at participating in Writing for Wellness here at City of Hope. What I was able to, and still do, get out of this class is that the thoughts and the feelings that I feel inside I'm able to express in writing. Sometimes I feel I can't express them to someone else, but I know that it's a safe method to write out feelings and expressions and thoughts that I have about being a cancer survivor.
It was then that I looked up and read the words inscribed on a building wall in front of the old bone marrow unit before the new hospital was built. The words read, "Where there is hope, there is life." I read those words again and again, twisting and turning the delightful meaning of those words in my tumbled mind. This was it. This is to be the first priority on my list. Hope, a 4-letter word I knew would carry my salvation. Hope. I don't remember how much longer I was on the fountain as visitors and patients passed in front of me, but when I stood up, I knew that this one little word had given me a generous dose of strength to start the fight, and it continues to be my mantra to this day, 3 years later.
Oh, bless your heart. You are always writing something, I think, in your head, and you're feeling these feelings, and that's why I think a class like this is important, because it gives you the vehicle for getting those feelings out. Otherwise, you could not write that well instantly, on demand. And I think those poems, those feelings are inside of all of us, waiting to come out. And it's not the sort of thing you just do spontaneously. You go over to someone's house for dinner and you don't just say, well, I've just thought of a poem. And I mean, it'd be nice, but we just don't do that, do we? Or just share something that personal. But if I ask you to do it, these wonderful stories come out. So thank you for doing that.
My name is Gordon Dyer. I live here in Monrovia, and I'm Michigander, but I've been transplanted to California for the last 60 years. Well, I've been a caregiver for about 15 years to my partner of 28 years, and that experience left me with a lot of things to iron out. And Julie Davey happened to be there and told me of the class, and here I am. I'm very glad I've been coming to it. To me, it's given me an inside view of things I'd rather not see and think about in my life. It's been painful, but I find that coming to grips with them has been enriching, actually, and given me a lot more to think and write about. Such a group as this is very special because you have a like mind. You're with people who have a similar orientation at the moment. They understand you more readily, they accept you more readily than you'll find true any other place except in such a group as this. So I think I would recommend everyone to seek out such a discussion, writing, talk group, and where you can air the things that are bothering you about your disease or about being caregivers. It's really not an easy job either. Ever regret is the day I gave the wrong answers to the right questions, I guess. I was 10 years old, and my best friend was asking me, saying, Gordon, you go to church, and I don't. What is heaven like? And I never lost for answers. I'm still that way, bad habit. I said, heaven is a wonderful place where people like each other, and they're kind to each other, and so on. He said, well, could I go to heaven? And I said, sure. He was dead that night. And I suspect that because of the conversation, he was thinking of committing suicide. He had to leave the next day to go back to Carroll, Michigan, the top of the thumb for epileptic patients. He couldn't go to the public school. And he said, I'd rather die than go back to that school. And I found his body in 3 feet of water. I picked him up, brought him to shore, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You were only 10?
We were both 10 years old.
Oh my.
I can't believe a 10-year-old would think that way, but he was very, that type of mind.
I think sometimes you don't realize that you can not exactly will yourself well, but you can help yourself get well. Writing helped him, speaking helped him. This is Mary Miller, and she is a breast cancer survivor, and she's still on chemo, right?
I have been diagnosed with a blood cancer as well.
Oh, you
And so
have?
I'm on a chemo pill.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, and she's in training to teach these classes over in Pasadena at the Wellness Center. We've got her arm behind her back. She wanted to do it, but she just wasn't feeling that well right now, but she's looking better.
But I will.
You will do it.
Ever since last week, the muse in me has just appeared. So I brought something very short and sweet. Our wonderful teacher, Julie, said that it might be good to bring a prop. So I did. And it's kind of a, it's a little bit different. But this is my prop. It's an ice cube tray. Aluminum ice cube tray. and here's my little piece that I wrote this morning. Of all the things I inherited from my mom's kitchen, perhaps the most precious to me are the 2 Philco aluminum ice cube trays. They are as old or perhaps older than me. Mom and Dad had to get on a list to get a refrigerator after World War II. The fridge is long gone, but the trays have provided endless coolness to real iced tea and pulpy, seedy lemonade, and also Kool-Aid, which was all of us kids' favorite thing. In my kitchen, the Never Fail lever has loosened cubes that go in the blender to make Mary's mighty fine margaritas. Bravo, Philco.
Great. Wonderful. The process of writing about what you're going through is very helpful. We first have to be in a sort of safe place and a place where you feel comfortable and that you will allow yourself to feel your emotions that are underneath there waiting to come out. I have seen this happen, and I'm not sure of why it does, but I know that it does. It's the process, not the product, that is important. You can write about something and never show it to anyone. You don't have to show it to your significant other, your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. In fact, I sometimes say, don't show it to anybody like that, because what you're doing if you're showing it to them is you're not saying, read this, you're saying, love this. And if they don't understand it, it could be a problem. So what you want to do is write from your heart and then put it away somewhere. Put it in a book somewhere. Keep it, or burn it in the fireplace if you want, because it's not the product that is important. It's getting out those emotions. That's what's important, and that's what we do in the class. If you want to share it with someone, fine. Best person to share it with is someone in the group who has been there while you were given that assignment.
It is time now for me to be happy. It is a choice, the acceptance that will bring freedom. At first there was denial, shock, and bargaining. Sounds familiar, those stages of death and dying. My husband has always been happy. He the optimist, I the realist. We waited for the call, the doctor's report. Yes, he has cancer, the dreaded C word. My dear husband, I am moving toward freedom, acceptance, and happiness.
This is the first time you've read something. So, what do we do when somebody reads something the first time? Oh, yay! You get to choose from the goodie pile here, of course. So you just dig in there, and anything you would like. You can shop around, though. You don't have to decide right there. Okay. We heard that a church down in El Segundo has adopted our book and is starting the classes, writing for wellness classes. There is another religious group, church, up in Northern California with 4,000 members, and they are doing this. So it's really nice to know that. And again, all the profits for the book, as you know, go to the City of Hope. So that makes us all happy. And everybody wins. Edna Teller. Edna's mother died of cancer, of leukemia. Edna herself was a person who worked here at City of Hope, started working in this class, coming to the class just to sort of see what it was like, has ended up writing. I think you're one of the more prolific writers in the group, and she's also an artist. So she's got all sorts of things to give. She wants to start one of the classes as well.
I just wanted to say that Writing for Wellness in this class and our teacher, Julie Davey, has changed my life in many incredible ways, some small and some very, very large. And it has helped me to turn to writing and to the written word to express emotions. And that's something I wasn't used to doing. And I used to work at City of Hope, and I've continued to come here even though I'm not a staff member anymore. But I wouldn't miss it because the experience has been a transforming one. And I think people, if they could be in this community of friends, would realize and get a perspective on life and a wake-up call that every day is precious and every moment within that day is precious.
She would bloom and survive. I was sure it wasn't the proper vessel for perfect growth, but it began growing and blooming. The challenge must be met. Donna found another lump. This wasn't in the plan. The omen may have failed me. I continue to water, nourish, and love that plant. It's still an omen. It is still alive. So is she. By Theda Clark.
The reason it's a good poem and good writing is because she comes back full circle. So when you're writing, please give us enough details so that we know what you're feeling. And actually, you'll find when you do that, you're a better writer.
Good afternoon. I'm Ellen Lozier. I'm a friend and helper of my friend Joy Stewart. She has been a poet for many years, and all of these poetry ponder pieces were written with regard to her experiences while fighting breast cancer.
When the lump appeared, that was like the clarion call that made me face my mortality, and I had to make a decision, because I realized cancer was a serious thing, and if I really wanted to die, all I had to do was nothing. But I chose to get into fighting mode because I had 2 small children who needed me. And I wrote this poem called I Did Decide to Live. I was already adrift on a sea of pain when the diagnosis came. Death of marriage, death of mother, then a brand new harbinger of death, this time my own. To do or not to do became the question. I had already drank life's bitter cup, could feel its poison eat through my existence. Not to do was easy. Not to do would guarantee a swift demise, a certain end to suffering. Sometimes tottering on the edge, I looked both ways, trying to decide. And then I heard the laughter of my son and daughter and knew I would not leave. To do would guarantee them one remaining parent, and so I did. I did decide to live. I asked the Lord for 7 years to see them to adulthood. I promised then, when 7 comes, I'll ask again for me. Well, 7 has come and gone because now I'm in my 13th year of survivorship. Thank God. Julie inspired me to branch out from just writing poetry and to pursue other forms of writing. And just meeting other people and being able to hear them share their experiences and sharing mine has been very uplifting.
She was writing, for example, the top one, Zap the Boobs, with regard to her breast cancer.
Well, one of the things I've come to realize is that if you don't have a sense of humor, you can't make it through life, because there are going to be difficulties in life. That's just the way it is.
Mastectomy song, and that is to the tune of a Jewish piece of music, and she would sing it because she is a musician as well as a poet.
Lumpectomy, mastectomy, which one will it be? See how the surgeons are dancing with glee, gathered round the table at sight of this treat, waving their scalpels as if I am fresh meat. And while they are dancing, one surgeon is bending low, brandishing a knife. He is standing on my right, and my poor boob it will have to go. Brandishing a knife, he is standing on my right, and my poor boob it will have to go.
Writing for wellness has been a real therapy for her life and for her soul, for her recovery.
We asked the guests to bring in something that they would want to memorialize about their cancer experience, or something that they want to be rid of. So they brought in everything from locks of hair to their hospital ID bands. A woman came up to me and said, "Can we put anything we want on this collage?" And I said yes. And she quietly took this baggie out of her purse, and there was a little brown shriveled object in the bottom of the bag. And I said, "Cynthia, what is that?" She said, "Well, I lost my toenail due to the chemotherapy, and I just didn't want to throw it away." So if you can find the newspaper clipping, the magazine clipping of the foot there, she actually affixed her big toe onto the foot clipping there.
Well, when I came to the class, I was in a dual position. I had been diagnosed, was undergoing treatment, was working full-time, and was a caregiver for a gentleman that I had been with for 17 years who was going into dementia. And the opportunity to come in and write down what I was thinking. I had always wanted to be a writer, but I had never been able to do anything with it. And so I thought, this is great. And it was great. I've lost some very dear friends who were members of the class in the beginning. I've seen many get well and thrive. And we are like a family. Because we know each other's innermost feelings, we feel totally comfortable with each other, and we can support each other, whether it's in words or in actions.
Carol, this is the one I have the hard time. It's multiple myeloma.
That's right.
And she's had a double stem cell transplant.
Correct.
In the process of all of that, her husband passed away. So she has had a lot on her mind, and yet she is very positive, giving. She's going to help out at the program at Whittier, and she's a wonderful writer and poet. And they keep, every time somebody gets a copy of our book and they put something in a newspaper or a magazine, it's always her poem. It's really causing a little bit of a problem here for us.
I found a unique writing group, support group, this Writing for Wellness. I would call the words that come to my mind therapeutic, thought-provoking, transforming. Anyway, this has been an incredible group that's brought amazing changes into my life. We come from all walks of life and avenues of need. We share the sacred and the sad, the silly and the sublime. There's a touch of serendipity and hope restored. It's honor time for sharing intimate thoughts and intimate caring. There's abundance of tears, laughter, beaming faces, relaxing smiles, and tender touches. Nothing's held back in this place I call my safe house. So I'll just stop there.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Now that you've seen what a class is like, the Writing for Wellness class, you've seen it actually help people right there on the spot who wrote about things from their heart, you might be interested in starting your own group. So go to the website, www.writingforwellness.net, and I will email you back and give you information. This is a passion of mine. I would really like to see those of you out there who like to write and think that this is helpful to go out and do it. I'm hoping, it'll be my dream come true, that these classes can be shared across the country. World would be even better. Where people come to a group, it could be in a church or a school or a medical center, and they write about their situations. And people need to write about these events in their lives. So I wish you well, and I hope that some of you will get involved in this. If not, pass it along to someone you think might be able to start this kind of class. Thank you very much.